We've all been there, right? That moment in a meeting, at a family gathering, or even just hanging out with friends, where one person seems to be completely taking over. Their energy is infectious, they're full of big ideas, and they seem to be constantly talking. They are the life and soul of the party. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Jaxom Talks channel. If you're a fan of Thomas Erikson's book, Surrounded by Idiots, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Before we get going, if you would like to get additional insights into the colors as described by Erikson and their communication style, check out my other videos. Today we will be talking about the yellow personality type. This video is going to be a bit of a roller coaster. We will talk about some really common communication flaws that people with yellow personalities have. So if you have one, don't worry, this can be a learning opportunity. If you know someone who has a yellow personality, this video might explain why you sometimes find them a bit crazy or hard to understand. So let's dive in. Now, while a strong dose of yellow can be a fantastic thing for creativity and getting a team energized, today we're going to dive into the other side of the coin. What happens when a yellow goes off the rails? When a yellow's strengths become their biggest weaknesses, and they then start to have a negative impact on everyone around them. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, let's do a super quick recap. A yellow personality is driven by a need for social connection, fun, and new ideas. They are optimistic, charismatic, and enthusiastic. Their communication is expressive and often involves storytelling. They value freedom and spontaneity above all else. Think artists, salespeople, and motivational speakers. These traits are incredibly valuable, but when they're not kept in check, they can be devastating for the other colors in the room. The first way that yellow personalities can sabotage conversations is by constantly interrupting others. They can be quite rude sometimes. One of the reasons they do this is that they get bored really easily and they tend to need instant gratification. So instead of waiting for you to finish your thought, they just jump in with their own thoughts and ideas. This can leave the other person feeling ignored and unimportant. They may think that you're not interested in what they have to say, and that can lead to some pretty heated arguments. This type of behavior is also really annoying as it makes it really hard to have a normal conversation. Instead of being able to talk about a variety of different topics, the yellow personality will always steer the conversation in a direction that interests them. This can be really frustrating for the other person because they feel like they don't have a voice in the conversation. Let's break down the negative impacts, color by color, just as Erikson details. First up, let's talk about the impact on reds. The reds are the driven, goal-oriented leaders of the group. They are focused on project results, efficiency, and a clear path to success. They hate wasting time and see emotions as a distraction. Now, imagine a red trying to lead a meeting focused on a new project timeline. They've got the agenda, they're ready to make decisions, and they want to get straight to the point. What's the yellow's reaction? Erikson would say the yellow would likely derail the conversation completely. Such as, oh, that reminds me of this other project we did. It's a funny story, a little off topic, but it's important for team morale. This rambling, unfocused approach can completely infuriate a red. The red sees their time being wasted on what they perceive as irrelevant chatter. They get frustrated by the lack of direction and the inability to stay on track. The yellow, who thrives on social interaction, sees their storytelling as a way to build rapport, while the red sees it as an obstacle to getting the job done. The red's patience runs thin, and they might become overly aggressive or dismissive, causing tension and resentment. Next, let's look at the green personalities. Greens are known to be the loyal, stable, and worker-oriented team players. They value harmony, stability, and a consistent, predictable environment. They hate conflicts and sudden, unplanned change. What happens when a yellow gets loose on a green? Erikson explains that a yellow's spontaneity and lack of planning can be incredibly unsettling to a green. The yellow might suddenly decide to change the project direction, start a new initiative without consultation, or forget to follow through on a promise they made. The green will feel anxious, stressed, and deeply uncomfortable. They rely on routine and a clear structure, which the yellow's unpredictable nature completely disrupts. The green might quietly resent the chaos, feel their hard work is being ignored, and become overwhelmed by the constant pivots. The yellow, in their pursuit of excitement and new ideas, can create a deeply insecure environment that makes the green feel their foundations are constantly shifting. Finally, let's consider the impact on blues. Blues are the detail-oriented, analytical thinkers. They value accuracy, facts, and logic. They want a clear laid-out plan, They need all the information, and they live by the rules. A rogue yellow can be a nightmare for a blue. The yellow, driven by emotion and big picture ideas, will often make a decision without any of the necessary data or analysis. They'll say, let's just go with our gut feeling. It's more exciting this way. This approach is the complete opposite of a blue's entire way of thinking. The blue will feel rushed, anxious, and deeply frustrated. They know that a lack of detail and data will lead to mistakes, but their concerns are often dismissed as being too slow or pessimistic. The yellow's aversion to the facts and figures can lead to a flawed outcome with the blue, who feels they could have prevented it and is left feeling unheard and disrespected. In a work environment, this can lead to errors, a lack of trust in leadership, and the blue withdrawing from the conversation entirely. So, why is this so important to understand? It's not about villainizing the yellows. Erikson's whole point is that all colors have their strengths and weaknesses. It's about self-awareness and understanding the ripple effect of our behavior. A yellow's strengths are invaluable, but without the needed emotional intelligence and an understanding of the other colors, they can leave a trail of frustrated reds, anxious greens, and unheard blues in their wake. One way to deal with this type of behavior is to try to be patient. Understand that the yellow personality is not doing this on purpose to be rude. It's just the way that they tend to communicate, so try to be understanding and give them the benefit of the doubt. Another thing you can do is to try to change the subject in a subtle way. When the yellow personality is getting too excited about a topic, try to steer the conversation in a different direction. This can be a little tricky, but if you're patient and understanding, you can usually do it without causing any offense. Finally, don't take it personally. Remember that the yellow personality is not trying to be rude or inconsiderate. They're just not very good at communicating, so try not to take it too hard and just roll with the punches. Yellow personalities can also be very impulsive. They love to do things on a whim and they don't always think through the consequences. They tend to just go for it. Being impulsive is often seen as a negative trait, but it can also be a positive thing. Yellow personalities are often able to think outside the box and come up with creative solutions to problems. They're also more willing to take risks. This can lead to new opportunities, especially in the work environment. These are just a few of the ways that yellow personalities drive us crazy. But remember that they're not doing this on purpose to be mean or hurtful. It's just their way of communicating and interacting with the world. So try to be patient with them and understanding and give them the benefit of the doubt. Also, don't take it personally when they interrupt you or criticize you. Chances are they're not trying to be rude, they just don't see it as being inconsiderate. The key takeaway from Erikson's book isn't to change who you are, but to adapt your communication. So if you are a yellow, just take a moment to give the red the quick, clear update they need. Give the green some reassurance that you have a plan. Finally, and for the love of all that is logical, give the blue the time and data they need to feel confident in a decision. If you do this, you'll find that your team's effectiveness and your relationships will improve dramatically. But that's not to say that it's always easy to deal with yellow personalities. If you can stay calm and rational and try to see their point of view, chances are you can resolve any conflict that arises. Just remember that yellow personalities are really not bad people. They just have some quirks that can be a bit annoying, but with a little patience and understanding, you can definitely interact with them in a more positive way. If you think you might be a yellow personality, don't worry. It's not a bad thing. It just means that you have some unique challenges when it comes to conversations. But don't despair. There are plenty of things you can do to improve your conversational skills and become a more engaging and empathetic conversationalist. All it takes is practice, a little effort and understanding. We're not saying that every single yellow personality has these flaws, but that these are some of the most common ones. Also, we're not trying to put people in boxes or limit them based on their personality traits. We're just trying to help people understand each other better. Understanding that people with yellow personalities have these communication flaws can help us all communicate with each other more effectively. This is just a small taste of the fascinating insights in Surrounded by Idiots. If you want to learn more about the other colors as indicated by Erikson and how to better communicate with everyone in your life, I highly recommend picking up a copy of his book. What's your experience with a yellow? Have you ever felt the negative impact of their spontaneity and loud personality? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content on communication and personality types. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.